Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this lab, we're going to create a VNet pairing. So first thing first, let's just go to the virtual machine and we can hit create. We choose the virtual machine that we want to create. And from there, we have a subscription that's already been provided to us by default. Now we're going to create a new resource group. So let's just hit create new. And here we put RG. Let's call this RG1. Okay, RG1. And now we're going to give the virtual machine a name. So let's just call this VM1 since it's the first VM we created here. Now we're not going to leave this on Pacific Korea. We'll put it, let's put this on US West, US West, US West, US 3. And as for availability option, let's see. We have availability zone, virtual machine skill sets, availability set. So we just leave this by default on availability zone. Now on availability zone 1, we have zone 1, 2, and 3. So we just leave it by default on zone 1. Now for the security type, we'll leave it as standard. Now as for image, if you want to, you could choose whether Ubuntu Linux or Windows Server, but for this lab, I prefer the Windows Server 2019. So let's grab that. VM architecture, 64-bit. So, okay. Now, so ARM64 is not supported with the selected image. Let's see if we could grab anything else. Let's grab Windows 10. ARM64 is not supported. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Now, if we scroll down, one with Azure Spot discount, bang, bang, bang. Size, we'll leave it as default. Now, let's give it a username as call and a password as okay. Okay, we give it a password. And now when we come here, it says inbound port rules. Select which virtual machine network ports are accessible from the public internet. You can specify more limited or granular network access on the networking lab. So public inbound port, make sure you don't leave this as none, but you selected, allow selected port just for the pairing purposes. And the port number have to be RDP, which is Remote Desktop Protocol 3389. Now, I could have hit review and create, but if I done that, then I would give up the right that I have to configure my own IP. Because if I do that, it would automatically give me a default IP address. So I don't want that. Therefore, I will scroll up and I will click on networking here. Now, you see it says that network interface. So when creating a virtual machine, a network interface will be created for you. So I don't want that. So virtual machine, virtual network. So I will hit create new since I want to create my own network. So let's give this give this VNet a name of VNet 1. And you see it gives us an IP address of 10.0.0/16. So I don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead. So let's says the Microsoft Azure virtual network devices enables Azure resources to secure communication with each other in a virtual network, which is a low logical isolation of the Azure cloud dedicated to your subscription. You can connect virtual networks to other virtual networks on your on-premises networks. Okay, so let's go ahead and just delete this and put on our own IP address. So by the way, remove this. So let's say we would give this an IP of 10.0.0.0/8, right? Now for the subnet part, let's give it a subnet. So it says subnet, so the subnet address is where the CIDR notation. It must be contained by the address space of the virtual machine. Okay, or the virtual network, I mean. So let's give it a 10 that maybe 1.0.0/16. And so the name must begin with a letter. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. So this should be here. And that name should be, it's called a subnet 1. Okay, so we good. That's where the confusion was. All right, so say no thanks. Now, let's review. We're gonna leave everything else by default. Let's review and create. Says validation field require information is missing or validation. So let's just go back. What do we have here? We didn't go on tag. We were just here. And yep. So let's just hit that too. Let's review and create. What is wrong with this? Let's call it VM1. Give it a value, VM1. And then what is wrong with this? Okay, so let's go back and start to create that again. So this time we'll make it faster. Let's call this RG1. We hit OK. We hit we're gonna call the virtual machine VM1. Vegan, no thanks. We're going to put it on West US 3. Scroll down. Scroll down. So let's make this call and see if it's gonna give that to us. We gotta type it in again. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's go to network. We're gonna create our own network. We're gonna name this VNet 1. We'll create our own IP address. We'll create our own IP address. We're gonna give it an IP of 10.0.0.0/8. And then we're gonna go there. We're gonna give it a name, subnet name of subnet 1, and we'll give it a subnet of 10.1.0.0/16. We're gonna hit OK. Okay. If everything looks okay, let's just go ahead and hit review and create. Okay, so it's passed the validation. Now let's just review everything and let's just hit create. It's gonna take a little bit of time. So it says deploying is in progress. Okay. So it's coming up soon, just a second. Might take some time. Okay. All right, so now we could hit just create another VM and making the other VM so we can do the pairing lab session today. So we're gonna create a new resource group and call this RG2 since the first virtual machine was RG1. We're gonna name this virtual machine here VM2 since we named the first one VM1. Now, we're not gonna put them on the same region for the purpose of our pairing session today. So let's just go ahead. So the first one was on US West US 3. So we're gonna put this on US East. Let's put this on US East. And again, so for availability options and stuff like that, like availability zone and all of these things, so we can just leave them as default. So let's just grab a Windows 10 just to avoid make this an heavy. So scroll down. As for username, let me just give it the same username and see if that would work. So I call and okay. Okay, so we give it a password, making sure that all ports selected on the selected inbound port and public inbound ports. So then we gotta confirm a license here, which I didn't think that was matter on the first VM. So now again, like I said, if you would hit review and create, that will you will forfeit the right for you to give it an IP. So let's go ahead and give it an IP. So first and foremost, we're gonna create a virtual IP. So let's name this VNet 2. And we can delete this. We're gonna give it an IP address of what? I'm sorry. We're gonna give it an IP address of 172.0.0.0/8. Okay. Then for the subnet mask, let's just give the subnet name as subnet. Since we called the first one subnet 1, we're gonna call this subnet 2. Now for subnet 2, let's give subnet 2 an IP address of 172.16.0.0/16. All right, so let's just hit OK. And we can review and create. See if it passed the validation at this time. So far, running final validation. Let's see. Okay, so it's validation passed. Now let's go ahead and create. Okay. Take just a little bit of time for it to be done. All right, so it says deployment is in progress. So let's see. Deployment is in progress. So still. It might take some time. I apologize for that. Deployment is still in progress. Oh, not sure why it takes forever, but it is. So sweet. Can move forward until this is done. Okay, so your deployment is complete. So now let's go back home. Say if we hit virtual machine nodes. Now you could notice that we have two virtual machine, one named VM1, the second one is VM2. Their subscription is Azure subscription one on both of them, and the resource group one is on resource group one, the second one is on resource group two. I'm not sure why is this one is on central India when I put this on the central East US one. Take. I'm not sure if this will be able to work, but we could try that anyway. So they both fall in different locations, as you can tell, obviously. But they both are running and they run in Windows. Now let's see if I would go to VM1 and hit connect RDP. It's gonna give us an RDP file to be download. Now let me go and download just to avoid confusion. Let's see if I have any other RDP file here that might interfere with this, but not really. Let's see. Okay, so let's just go ahead and download it. Yes, keep, open. Now let's hit connect. More choice and different ones. Now we're gonna log into this machine and then go. Now let's see if we can log in. And yes. Now there we go, we log into this machine. Now the purpose of this lab is just to show you how to to do, how to pairing, into VNet. Now remember, we haven't done the pairing. We haven't, configured the pairing yet. So I'll show you in just a minute. So there I go from my local computer. I'm logging in into my VM1. Now, whatever, I don't really need that. Now, if I were to go here and type run, now if I type MST MSTSC. So what we do is we're gonna try to log into the other machine. Now, it asks us for the name, right? Now, so I'm going to try to remote desktop into the second machine. And I'm sure it's not gonna work. So the name is VM2, right? Now, let's hit connect and see. You see it failed, right? It's not gonna work. Now let's try the IP address of VM2 as well. So let's switch back to our Azure portal. What am I doing? Ask me later. Let's switch back. Um, let's see. Oh, okay. So let's switch back into our Azure portal. Let's grab the IP address of VM2 and see if that will work. No, that's not what I want. Let's go to home. Let's go to VM2. And there go to its private IP address that we're looking for, so we can see if that would work. So there go its private IP address. Let's copy this. It's 192.16.0.4. So let's back to this. And try to make home. Now it's 172.0, no, that's 16.0.4, right? And let's hit connect and see. It's not gonna work with us again because we haven't set the pairing yet, as you can tell. You see it's not working. So now let's let's go ahead and set the pairing. So we're gonna go back to into the Azure portal. So we'll go on VNet, and I could click on pairing one, and I will hit pairing. I'll just take a moment before it come up. So my computer is very slow, and I apologize for that. Hit pairing. So we're gonna click on add. And now we can give it a name of VNet VNet 1 to 2. So let's go VNet 1 dash 2. Oh, sorry, to VNet 2. And now as for the resource manager and stuff like that, so we could leave it like that. Now for the pairing link, name, since remote virtual network. So under the subscription here, so we have to grab VNet 2 since the name of the pairing from VNet. So we can give this a name too as well. A second. So we can name this um so we can name this sodium pairing. We can name this VNet 2 2-2. Oh, sorry, to VNet 1. Um, 2 to VNet 1. So parent link name, allow default. Okay, so we're gonna leave everything else by default, like traffic to remote virtual network. traffic forwarded from remote virtual network, and we could leave. So if I want to, I could connect like one-to-one, but not from VNet 1 to 1 that we want. So we want from VNet 1 to VNet 2. So just one direction will be possible, but by default, it's always better to set that up just the way we do it, like that. So let's just review everything, and let's just go ahead and add that. Let's just go ahead and add. So you see adding virtual network pairing. Okay, so now add virtual pairing. So you can see now VNet 1 to VNet 2. So both of those are done. Even though it says it's done, it still takes a 30-second sometimes to up. So I'm going to switch back to I'm going to switch back to VLAN 1. I'm going to switch back to the remote desktop here and see if I can connect. Let's hit connect. Now you can see it asks me for an IP address. So this is a sign that shows that our pairing is really work now. So let's go ahead and do. And hit remember me and log in. Now, there's no point to really continue, and because if it did not communicate, then it will not ask us for any credential. As you can tell, maybe my password was wrong, but I can. Oh, yep. Now I'm peering into my other VNet. Um, but yeah, so obviously that if there was not communicate, then they would not give us any way to type in any IP address. I mean, to type in any credential to log in. So my computer is very slow. So maybe that's why it's acting up. But as for per this lab purposes, we are remoted into from VM1 to VM2. And let's see. Now again, I apologize. It says that because of protocol error, this session will be disconnected, but my computer is very slow. But again, the only reason that you get that is the fact that you can, so here's this sign that shows that the communication is being processed, which was different earlier when we did a pairing, the connection, it was just failed. Now, I appreciate you been taking the time and follow along with me with this lab. If you have any question or comment, you're free to leave a comment below. And if you have a suggestion too, you're free to give it to me. I'll be more than happy to learn from you. I appreciate every time I have the chance to do this lab together. Again, I'll see you in the next session lab on Azure Solution Architect, Azure, um, cloud engineer. So whatever that you wanna, pursue as as a career in Azure, those labs may be very helpful for you. Thank you. I'll see you next. Bye bye.